Three, two, one. Good evening and welcome to Anime-Zing Radio here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. I'm your host, Doug Engler. Joining me in the co-host seats, as always, are our good friends Angela Rose
Hello.
and Darren Starling.
Yellow.
We want to remind everybody Anime-Zing Radio is brought to you tonight by Home Circle Media for the latest and greatest in anime gear, everything from pens, pencils, stationery, and officially licensed art books. Be sure to check out homecirclemedia.com today or look for them at an upcoming convention near you next year. We're also brought to you tonight by Casey Fox. For all of your artwork, cosplay, and photography needs, be sure to check out Casey Fox. That's KAYCIFOXX on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Again, good evening and welcome to Anime-Zing Radio. This is our last show of the year, as we typically do have a holiday special with an amazing voice actor, and tonight we have the honor and privilege of welcoming a very talented young lady, not just in the voice acting world, but talented cosplayer and musician as well. Please welcome Emi Lo to the show.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us, Emi. I know that the universe had other plans for you this weekend, but we're excited that you're able to join us for a little bit anyway.
Thanks for having me.
And it's been a while since we had you on, as we were talking before the show. The last time we had you on was our last show on Blog Talk, which was July of 21.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize it was that long ago.
Yeah, we made the switch to YouTube like the very next week. And I was like, we need to get Emi back on the show. It's been a while, but I know that you've been busy. A lot more roles coming up that you've been involved in and everything. Plus, you are on a podcast as well with DEE, Digital Era Entertainment.
Yeah, I haven't been on that in ages just because I've been too busy.
But I remember Mario talking about that as well. So
yeah, totally.
But thank you again so much for joining us tonight. For our new viewers out there, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
So I'm Emmy. I'm a voice actor, as you, I guess, know. My more well-known roles are Lucy in Cyberpunk Edgerunners, Sawatari in Chainsaw Man, Suma in Demon Slayer, Columbina in Genshin Impact, Rena in Higurashi, and some other ones, Destiny and Octopus Destiny, Shuten and Fate, Kate and Shadow's House, etc. I have an awesome cat. He's very fluffy. And yeah, that's basically it, I guess.
Well, the chat has already started. Good evening from Mario, Speak of the Devil.
Oh, this
Hi,
is a different
Mario.
Mario. That's
Oh.
a different. This is Mario Tanaka.
Hi.
We're referring to Mario Bueno.
Fair.
But we have multiple Marios.
And another question from the chat. It was brought up that you are a musician, so the chat is asking, what kind of music do you play?
So I have a master's degree in classical piano. But these days I mostly just like give recitals at cons that I guest at where I play video game and anime music on the piano.
That
And
is
From
awesome.
time to time, you stream as well. I think
Yeah.
last year at one point you were doing a stream. I had your music playing in the background while I was gaming on Twitch. Of course, giving credit to you for playing the music.
Thank
But
you.
it directs people to you because you put on fantastic pianist.
Thank you. It's fun. Yeah, I haven't been able to stream at home in a while just because yeah, scheduling, who knows whenever I'm free, it's always very last minute. So, but
And
hopefully I can do it again soon.
now, knowing that like everything has changed quite a bit from when the pandemic started, was it a big adjustment for you to get used to home recording for these shows?
Yeah, I mean, I had to like get a new microphone and everything and stuff like that, and make sure that my closet was all treated well so it could be a nice booth and there's not much ventilation in my closet, so there's that. You have to get used to just like not being as comfortable.
And as a follow-up to that, at this point, are you doing more home recording or more are you back in a studio at all, or is it some sort of mix?
Basically all the Crunchyroll stuff I do is in studio. Besides that, the rest is basically remote still.
Is it weird to have gone from saying Funimation voice actor to Crunchyroll voice actress?
Yeah, it's still, we still mess it up sometimes, but it means the same thing really.
Because
Funimation was the one that bought them anyway, so
I know there are times I still will screw up and be like, Funimation, oh wait, they're Crunchyroll now. Or
yeah,
it's kind of
Funchiroll, Funimation, who knows?
Funimation, I like that. I kind of view it as the same thing as Sentai Filmworks with High Dive. Sentai does the recording, High Dive does the broadcasting.
Mm.
So I can see the partnership kind of being along those lines, which I think makes it a little easier for Funimation to be able to focus more on the quality of the shows and let somebody else deal with the streaming and uploading.
Maybe this means we'll get better functioning apps. Maybe not.
I,
Depends on what you're using.
on the computer, Crunchyroll is fine. On Roku box, Crunchyroll is fine. On phone, hit or miss.
No, we have an Apple TV, and it basically every so often it logs us out. Granted, when we had the Roku before that, it was worse.
And question for you, Emmy, from the chat, asking, what is your favorite anime?
Oh God. I mean, I still have a soft spot for Yu Yu Hakusho. Probably not what people. So probably that. That's definitely one of my top ones. Another one would be Hikaru no Go. That's another one that I really like. I like a lot of older shows, Slayers, Kino's Journey.
Kino's Wonderful Journey was a great show.
Yeah, I love the novels so much. The
There-
author is fantastic, Sixawa.
There's a lot of hidden gems out there. So many shows nowadays, and it seems like a lot of shonen titles get the big hype. Demon Slayer and My Hero,
Mhm.
Attack on Titan. But there are so many hidden jewels that fall through the cracks because everybody focuses on the mainstream stuff. So it's great to hear some of the older shows, lesser known shows out there that are people's favorites.
There. And the chat is agreeing with you on Yu Yu Hakusho.
HH says, Yu Yu Hakusho, my girl. Sharka says, I love Yu Yu Hakusho.
Never seen it.
Same. I've also been told that it's probably one of those really good but not for me shows.
Kind of like Call of the Night.
I
Really good, just
understand.
not for you.
I understand why you enjoy it. I didn't. I can agree with you that the art is gorgeous, the soundtrack is amazing. I just did not get into it, and we lost Emmy.
So Emmy was having some technical difficulties before coming on the stream. So hopefully she'll be right back.
Yep.
Sorry, it crashed on me.
All good. We know that you had some issues trying to get everything to cooperate. So
Technical
Yeah, it's because it's on the Chrome app, so it was like it's being slow. Wait, and I kept pressing wait and wait and wait and wait, and then I guess 10 minutes in, it decided it wanted to crash.
Yep.
It's fine.
The wonders of live radio, live TV, live podcasting.
Part of the experience.
And for once, the technical issue wasn't on our side, Darren.
Yeah, I know. Write that down.
Put that in the calendar. Well, actually, since switching to YouTube and StreamYard, we haven't had the technical issues we used to have with Blog Talk constantly.
No, the issues have all been either cell phones or computers. Because any one of the three of us has had issues at any given point.
Now,
Bye.
in 2022, we saw an increase, conventions and stuff coming back. You've been able to go on tour. Again, thank you for the autograph. A friend of mine got to meet you at a con this year and got me your autograph on a Delman piece.
Yes, I remember that.
So I thank you for that. What has it
Of
been
course.
like from your perspective of being able to get back out to conventions? Does it feel like things are kind of getting back to normal?
So I didn't actually guest at conventions before the pandemic. I had actually just like attended them as like a regular attendee person, like a normie. Um, but I think things are probably going back. Things, whether we like it or not, are getting back to normal with like, huge crowds. I heard AX was basically like a fire hazard and had like oxygen levels well into the danger zone.
I was going to say, we did touch on some of that trash fire.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I had a lot of friends there, and that was half my Facebook feed that weekend.
Yeah, like videos of like how awful it looked there and stuff like that. I heard Anime NYC was close to that, just but not quite. Like they had figured some things out, but yeah. What was it? Like somebody got injured though there, like one of the artists or something, carrying booth materials or something, because they
Yes.
wouldn't let them use the elevators.
I heard
Yes.
about that.
That was a friend of mine, Otaku Joe, or
Mm.
not Otaku Joe. It was one of the vendors who's I've bought from many times at AAC. In fact, my daughter has like 4 or 5 plushies from him, and I guess he was in rough condition.
No, I heard some stories about Anime NYC, not nearly as many as AX, but I mean, it's one of those things where I think that's, how do I put this? I think we're getting back to, in some areas, we're getting back to pre-pandemic levels, and people aren't prepared for it.
Oh yeah, I heard that like it's especially because there weren't so many conventions before, and now I mean there weren't many conventions during the pandemic, and now that they're coming back, people are like, oh my God, I need to see my friends again. Oh my God, I need to go shopping again, and so like they're all like searching towards them, and also it just got more popular during the pandemic too.
Yep.
It's become more mainstream, so now there are more people that are just interested in it, and like they're like, oh, there's a convention, let's stop by. It's local or whatever.
Yep. And it's actually funny. When I was significantly younger, being into anime was not a very popular thing. So I kind of kept that
Yep.
outside of my inner circle, kept that some level of
Yep.
secret. And then now it's like during a work holiday party, I ended up having multiple entire conversations about anime and like who likes what shows and who's currently watching what.
Yeah, it's all over the malls now too.
Oh yeah.
And questions coming into the chat. John Knight was asking Emmy, "Are you enjoying Crunchyroll so far?"
I mean, it's about the same. So yeah. I'm just grateful for anything.
You're happy to have the work, right?
Exactly.
Trisha was asking, "What is it like being a voice actress?"
Um, Unending hustle, but the work is gratifying. Um, yeah, it's like, it's basically like any art job. You never know when your next gig is coming, but when you're actually doing the work, it's amazing.
Plus, as a voice actor, you get to voice and create bring these characters to life that you couldn't do on stage. Like you've gotten to voice cat characters and elves and all sorts of different animals and stuff. A dragonoid that shoots a beam out of her head. Can't exactly replicate that on stage. So that's got to be kind of fun for you as well.
Yeah, and I can be like a boy or a mascot character or
And
very tall.
And just have a lot of fun. And then
we have David asks, "Hey Emmy, any older anime you like? Card Captor Sakura, Outlaw Star, Cowboy Bebop,
I mean,
Paranoia, even?
I love Cardcaptor Sakura. Like I mentioned Slayers earlier. I love that. 12 Kingdoms is a little older. What other stuff do I have on my shelf right now? I don't know if you know Nodame Cantabile. I really like that one. I enjoyed Boogie Pop Phantom back in the day, as well as the live action movie for that was great. Yuki Kajiura did the soundtrack for it. Um, I don't know if there was an anime for it, but Ballad, Shinigami no Ballad. I think it might have just been a manga. There was a live action and a novel for it too. Um, does Yu-Gi-Oh count? Yu-Gi-Oh was older. It started in like 96 or something.
96.
Yeah.
All the long
I
running popular stuff started in 96. I would
yeah,
know
I
I
love
was born
season
that
zero
year.
of Yu-Gi-Oh. It's great.
I know,
Back
right?
when he played games that would kill
Oh
people.
my god.
Mm-hmm. I
I
have to
mean,
say,
technically
most
Hunter x
people
Hunter
don't.
started a while ago too. Huh?
Most most people aren't even aware season zero exists.
It's my favorite.
Uh, Angela and I are like, no.
No, this just makes me want to share. Darren, slight tangent. Did you hear the news about Pokemon?
Yes,
Yeah,
of course. How could you
I
not?
don't know.
It
My husband and I poured out some sake. Sorry, we had sake to pour one out for Ash and Pikachu
well,
for a lot.
about to say someone else brought up a good point. If Ash and Pikachu are retiring, then what about Team Rocket? Because let's be honest with you, Team Rocket was half the show, whether you like them or not.
I think the new show is going to be a completely different flavor.
I think so too.
And hopefully they don't take something nostalgic and by changing things that people are accustomed to possibly make it feel worse because it's different and a lot of people don't like change. So
I,
Well,
I
to be fair, the Pokemon anime disconnected with a lot of people after Sun and Moon started for the simple fact they butchered the art style so bad it
Yeah,
wasn't even funny.
yeah.
The
I
animation was great, but the art just ruined it for a lot of people,
I mean,
including me.
it made it look a lot more kid style.
Yes.
I wonder
And
I wonder if with the new series they're going to go the Digimon route where it's going to take some stuff from the original but change it just enough where people who watch the old stuff will enjoy it but not so much or but make it so new people can also watch it without having to go back and watch the old stuff.
So that's like
but
also the Yu-Gi-Oh route for the sequels and stuff.
yes. And to be fair, Pokemon's been experimenting with other main characters for a long time. I mean, remember what they did in Johto with the main characters from the games? They had a little mini series that followed those three around.
I mean, and there's also
Lyra,
journeys.
yes.
and they've
So yeah, there
changed
have been
out
like mini
Misty.
series and stuff.
They
Oh,
changed out
yes,
Misty
yeah,
and Molly and a few
yep,
others.
yep. There was like 20 or so episodes that covered them and also just off episodes. Like I remember one, um, the Tracy and Misty, and let's see, Tracy and Misty were the stars of that episode. Then you had Casey, the girl with the Electabuzz or the Ella kid, the base that loved the baseball team. They did a lot of stuff back in the earlier generations, and I'm not gonna lie, the Four Kids dub of that thing was rather iconic, and they made a name for themselves and kind of set the precedence for a lot of stuff that was done in the future, and
Hmm.
also the bad edits.
Now, is that a franchise that you'd love to get involved with the new project coming up for Pokemon? Or
Yeah, I mean, like everybody wants to get involved with it. I've only been able to do some stuff through the phone game, but yeah, like Pokemon's great. If you look at my tree, there's a lot of Pokemon on there.
Who would you say is your
Yeah.
favorite Pokemon?
I love Eevee, and by extension, I love Vaporeon. But I also love Pachirisu. It's a great favorite, which is why when I booked Evelyn in Masters, it was so great because she uses a Pachirisu.
Awesome.
I can agree with Eevee for obvious reasons. That's what I named my daughter. And yes, did name her that based on the Pokemon. I've had people ask, did she get her name because of Pokemon? Yes. And we tell her that just like Eevee and the Pokemon, and Eevee evolves into 8 different things, when she grows up, she could be whatever she wanted to be.
That's so nice. Yeah, I have all the evolutions on my tree. They're from the Poké Doll version where they have the cute little short and stubby legs. It's great.
I was gonna ask who your favorite was, but you already said Vaporeon.
Yeah. Soft spot for Vaporeon.
I'd have to go with Leafeon. But in terms of
Mm.
design, Umbreon wins that one.
Umbreon has the best shiny for sure.
Yes.
If I said my favorite evolution was Flareon, would anyone be surprised?
No.
No.
Not. And I've told you all that Umbreon is my favorite evolution, which I think surprised a couple of people.
Umbreon's my second favorite.
I can agree.
Hence why I got married dressed as Umbreon.
Oh my God.
We had a Pokemon wedding at a Comic-Con.
Mm.
So we're not nerds at all.
Nope,
Nope, not at all.
not at all.
Now, getting back to your career, has it been crazy to see how things are progressing for you and you're getting more roles and stuff? 'Cause I remember when we first talked, you were just happy to start working. You were still fairly new to the voice acting world of anime. And is it crazy to look back and be like, I've been in this show and this show and this show, and I never dreamed it would be like this? Or
Yeah, it doesn't feel real still sometimes. But yeah, it's been pretty wild. I've been really lucky. Um, yeah, I think also with the pandemic, it helps because I was able to reach out to Bang Zoom and all that, and they had opened up to remote recording, and so that's why that was even possible.
and the people at Bang Zoom are really good people. We've actually had them
Yeah.
on the show a couple of times. Mami Okada was great to talk with, and Eric Sherman was awesome. I didn't realize he was a Boston boy, so that was interesting to learn when
Yep.
first time we talked with him.
Oh, I'm going up to Boston soon.
Oh, you should go head to your neck of the woods, Ange.
Yep. For a special event or just to visit?
Oh, my husband's from Boston, so we're visiting for the holidays.
Ah, no,
Awesome.
I live in Boston proper.
Yeah, they're in Lake Cambridge,
Yep. Right
and
across
that's where my brother lives too.
right across the river.
Yep. Yeah, my brother, he got his doctorate, and then he is now working at some hospital or something up there.
There's a lot of those.
Yeah.
And I'm from that area as well. Now living in northern New York.
Mm,
I feel
nice
bad.
place.
I'm the only one that has no idea what y'all are talking about because
You're
I'm way
down in
down.
North Carolina.
Yep, I'm way down. I'm way down here.
Not. I recommend coming up to Boston at some point, Darren. Not in the winter.
Maybe
One
we
day.
can get you up there for a con in the future.
That said, Emmy, if you're in the city for the New Year, if they're actually doing first night, I highly recommend it. It's usually a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're leaving the Thursday before New Year. it's the best time to travel and stuff. So
That is very fair.
I definitely wish you guys safe travels and enjoy your
thank
time
you.
with family up in Boston area.
Will do. The boy is gonna be there too. Oh, look at him right now. He's like, oh, is that him?
Aw,
He's all like rolled up.
you are such a cute ball of floof.
Yeah, she's snoozing. Katniss,
I I,
Katniss.
lo- I love the pictures that you post on Facebook of Noctis. I was
He's
looking
so
like,
good.
Ides, that's your rival.
He's so good. A very long-suffering boy.
Now, you said that before the pandemic, you were attending conventions just as an attendee. Is it a whole different feel when you're a guest at a convention as opposed to
Oh,
just a normal
totally.
attendee?
It's totally different. I mean, well, I mean, even when I was attending as an attendee, I was like volunteering as a cosplayer for companies. So it was still kind of working. So I still didn't like do the whole I go to panels for fun and stuff like that. But it's still very different because now whenever I'm attending cons, either I'm at my booth or doing events, or I mean at my table or doing events, or I'm hiding in my room because I'm really tired. Which
That's
is actually it's very similar to being a cosplayer at an event. So
I
yeah,
I can relate.
and I can relate
yeah,
to the tabling. People don't realize just how exhausting it is to be at a table for 6, 8, 10 hours. Anime Boston artists are at their table for 12 hours on Fridays and
yeah.
Saturdays, and
I mean,
that
because you
wears you
have to be
down.
on the whole time,
You
Yep.
which
have
is
to,
a lot.
which is why a lot of people have table helpers. I know at
Mm-hmm.
conventions you typically have a liaison that helps you out with everything. And
Mm-hmm.
how has it been being able to interact with your fans? Does it surprise you how many people come to the conventions wanting to meet you and talk to you about your work? Or
Yes. Absolutely.
And
It's always weird.
so you mentioned being a part of Genshin Impact. How much
hmm
of at recent events, how much of the people approaching you has been largely because of Genshin as opposed to any of the other stuff you've done?
not it's not as crazy because my character's only been in a trailer so far. She's part of the villain group. So they did like this huge reveal. So most of it is actually people are like, "Oh my God, wait, you're this person in Genshin." Um, so it hasn't been crazy yet. Yeah.
Because Genshin is right now just the big thing.
hmm Yeah, it's pretty wild.
and I
And
didn't realize she was in Genshin. Ange, don't yell at me. I know you were on my case about we went on a Genshin kick with voice actors this year.
no, I know. I know we did, and that's fine. Um, but I'm gonna change gears because we got a question in the chat. John Knight is asking if you enjoyed voicing Suma in Demon Slayer.
Oh yeah, she's tons of fun. You just like scream the whole time. It's pretty chaotic, especially the last episode where she's just wailing the whole entire time, but there are flaps, and then so it's just a lot of praying. 'Cause you have to keep that energy. In order to keep that energy, you can't really pay attention to much else. Um, so yeah, I remember my first session for Suma. It was like at the end of a 12-hour day, and I was exhausted and I was delirious. And then I get out of the session, I'm like, well, I hope that was good. But I love her. She's crazy and her energy and she's just so much fun.
Is it fun to voice these different characters talking about Suma and Demon Slayer being like screaming, yelling, high energy, and then you have Delmine who's laid back, reserved, quiet.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice doing the soft characters like that because it's just really chill and um I don't leave the booth feeling like I need a steak. Um,
And then we've got Cyberpunk Edge Runners, where Lucy was a completely different breed of off the rails.
Oh yeah, I was so nervous going into that one.
Because I will say that I absolutely loved that anime. That's probably one of my favorite recent animes.
Yeah, it's a really good one, and it's a wild ride, and like goes by like a whirlwind, 10 episodes, and like and it's like beat to beat to beat.
Now, for the fans out there who are watching the simul dubs and not, you don't have a lot of time from when they originally air in Japan to get the material, dub it, record it, you know, and then get it out on the streaming site. Does it feel like it's a more rushed pace now than it was before?
I mean, this is what I'm used to, so I don't know. I've heard that it's a really rush pace, and when I've worked on the production side, yeah, it's really crazy. There's if the studios are open from 10 to 10, and it's yeah, you have like a week per episode, but technically you have less than that because you have to get everything recorded and then you have to do the review and make sure that and then make sure let it go to mix and then make sure the mix is good and that's like the day before it goes up. So it's very very tight schedule. Um yeah. Which is
Eh,
why like sometimes you have to do pickups for the home video release to make if there are things that you missed or weren't able to correct in time and stuff like that.
which is why people still need to go out and buy the DVDs so that they can get all the good content that did come out on the streaming.
Exactly. And they fix the in Japan too because it's a rushed production. That's why when it comes out on home video, they fix some of the animation as well.
Which is interesting because that gets interesting because I think that's becoming a difference between the States and Japan is Japan still has a lot of that older technology, like, for example, VHS and DVD players. Here, that's becoming more and more of a rarity as everybody's streaming everything.
And it looks like her screen has frozen.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there
And
we go.
she's back.
There it is.
Gotta love technology.
Yep,
Talking about old technology in Japan and
yep. Because, yeah, we've been because noticing now just how few people I know who even have DVDs.
I have to say, I still every year, whenever Right Stuff has their sale, I still try to get something. It's just that I really haven't had a whole lot of
extra money.
yeah, because these last 2 years have taken a hit on my wallet.
Hmm.
In a
Which is
good
understandable.
in a good way, not in a negative way. Just saying. So don't get the wrong idea.
Darren owns his own business as well as works for a company outside of that. So he's a busy boy.
Mm,
So getting his
yeah.
business off the ground is where it's taken a hit in the wallet, but
Oh
it's
yeah.
also
But it's a good thing. Long
Yeah.
run, it's a good thing.
investing money as opposed to just blowing it like I do.
I mean, that's also a mood.
And
And HH is saying, I have a bookshelf of original release anime DVDs.
I I have probably at least 40 40 different series, maybe 50 different series on Blu-ray. And DVD wise, I have all the whole Dragon Ball series that I bought off I bought the whole series off of someone on eBay for like $200 back when streaming was kind of up in the air because SOPA and PIPA were introduced in the legislature and it caused a lot of streaming sites to freak out and start deleting everything.
Oh yeah, I have the Yu Yu Hakusho movie on VHS. it's subbed too. It was like the official subbed release of the movie. Um, what else do I have?
I have
I
a
have
couple of VHS episodes of Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh floating around somewhere.
for DVDs. I have the Gundam Wing. I have Gundam Wing Endless Waltz. I have some Kino. I have some Dot Hack Sign, Dot Hack Legend of the Twilight, some other things. I don't even remember.
Nah,
I have
VHS, I have absolutely nothing because when I moved out, I didn't take any of that with me.
Mm,
And then as for DVD, as far as anime is concerned, I think the only thing I still have is Serial Experiments Lane.
I've got some Inuyasha DVDs, Fruits Basket, Bento, Data Live, Rosario Vampire seasons 1 and 2, just about everything Girls in Panzer. I got a shelf and probably 3/4 full of DVDs.
Trigun is reading the comments. HH is saying you need Trigun. Trigun was fantastic. The movie was not as good, in my opinion.
I also have a D and Angel DVD, I think. Those were the days.
And then
Uh,
switching
to
gears.
be hold on, to be honest, I think how I got some of my anime back in the day, the little that was aired in the morning, I actually recorded the stuff live on VHS,
Oh
and
yeah, I have so much of that. Inuyasha. I recorded so much Inuyasha.
Back
that
in the
was back when it was just like, oh, I can't catch this. Okay, I'll just record it,
Hmm.
no problem. Going through the VHS and setting up the start time, the stop
Yep.
time,
Yep.
somehow managing to get that programming to skip the commercials. I never figured that out.
And then we've got more chat. David Alfaro is asking, did you enjoy voicing Rena from Higurashi when they cry Gao?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, she's like one of my favorites. Um, she's insane, but a very, very good girl who never did anything wrong, and I love her very, very much. Yeah, no, I love Rena so much. I have a huge collection of Rena figures, and I have her Volkstoffli as well. Um, Higarashi's amazing. Rena technically shows up in a game that's coming out soon. That's being localized soon. So yeah, yeah, Brenda's really
Mm.
great. She's just you get the full package. She's sweet, she's cute, she's shy, she wants to take things home, but also she won't murder things and be really creepy and yeah, I love her.
Isn't that everyone in Higurashi?
I mean, the thing about Rena is that she is actually like sweet, like she is genuinely a very sweet person. And like the only reason why she's killing things is one, she's going crazy because of the chemical or whatever, and like the long story. But even throughout all of that, it's because she wants her father to live live a good life. So she wants to protect her family through all of that. So like her motives and everything are still like really pure and stuff.
One character that you voiced that I really enjoyed. This is a series that most people slept on, and you only have a small. She appears, I think, in a couple of episodes. But Alice from Restaurant to Another World season 2.
Ah, yes.
That was such a good show that I don't think enough people gave it credit.
It was I think it was like it was less of a one that people talked about and more of one that people just watched as a comfort show. Because a surprising amount of people watched it just like as something to relax and cleanse their palate. I actually was also assistant director for the second season of that. And I just remember every time I would direct that show, I would be so hungry because the food looked so good.
That that's the anime curse. Everything they make in anime looks amazing, and
But
you get
like in
hungry.
this one, the whole episode is them talking about how good the food is.
Doug, now I'm going to, speaking of anime and food, are you
Oh my.
familiar with Binging with Babish?
No, I've never heard
It's
of
a
that.
it's a YouTube channel that focuses on recreating food from popular media. There's a sub-series that they do specifically recreating food from anime.
Hmm.
And speaking of which, there's also there's the React channel or whatever. Con they have partnered with Crunchyroll on several occasions to have food from anime, be it from Food Wars. I think they did Pokemon. They did a couple other anime dishes, and a lot of them were try not to eat challenges.
Like,
When I wrapped on Talked Up This Destiny, um, my husband made me a cocktail that was themed for Destiny. And it even had like a little donut on it because she eats donuts, and it was like a pink mochi donut. And he also, when Caitlin came over for some drinks and stuff, he recreated the tart tatin. That is her favorite food, and yeah, it's delicious.
Mm.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
And what was it like to play Alice? Because Alice, if I remember correctly from the series, she's kind of like a half. Like she's not 100% elf, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
she's
So
a half elf. She
she was kind of
looks,
ostracized by her clan, which is when she
yeah,
gets found.
yeah, so like she's very pure and innocent. And the thing about her is that even though she looks like a teenager, because she's a half elf and they live longer, she's like mentally 8 years old. So she looks like in her teens and stuff like that, and you expect to use like a higher tone for her and a different kind of like just a way of like, a level of maturity. But then when like she actually starts talking and stuff, she's like little kid, so like pure. Everything is gonna be great. Thank you for taking me in, blah blah blah. This food is amazing. Yeah, she's a lot of fun. She's so sweet. I was just happy to be part of the show just because I was working on it already, and it was just such a warm and comfy show.
Speaking of warm and comfy, I see you played in one of my favorite romances, Horimiya.
Yes.
That hands
Yeah,
down
that's a
one of the best written romance anime slash manga I've ever come across.
yeah, it's a very good one. Yeah, that's the character I play in that. She's she works so hard. She's so relatable. And I just remember going in and being like, "Oh, okay, so I'm coming in and I'm gonna have a breakdown." Okay, I guess this is nothing new. They seem to voice a lot of characters that have mental breakdowns. It's fine. It's fine. It's no reflection on my life.
And question from the chat room, John Knight asks, "Would you recommend Chainsaw Man?"
I mean, it depends what you like, really. The thing about the show is it's a lot of excess. It is a show that is there to be a sensation. And there's a lot of gore. It goes down to like the base desires. So if you're into that kind of stuff, then yeah, go for it. Um, if you don't like blood and, you know, stuff like that, or like more mature themes, then I wouldn't. So yeah, just basically, yeah, a lot of people like it. So just keep that in mind and check it out. Maybe check out the first episode and see how that goes for you.
I I will say I absolutely love it. That said, I would also there's certain people I know that I would definitely not recommend it to.
Yeah, it's very polarizing, I've
Yep.
noticed.
But
Hmm.
that again gets into what specific genres people like.
Hmm.
Now, I pulled up a picture of a character. I didn't realize that you voiced this character, and this was a show I hyped up early in 2022. It was a carryover from 21 to 22. I absolutely loved this show. Darren, I'm sure you know which one I'm talking about because I spent a long amount of time talking about this one. But I'm going to share the screen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tomoe. I had no idea that you voiced her, but it makes absolute sense now that I think about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
She was an adorable character.
Yeah, I can't wait for the next season. It'll be fun.
I am so excited about that. That show. I know we're taking a holiday break for 2 weeks after this, and when we come back, we're talking about doing a look back at Anime 2022, and probably see if everybody can get like a top 5 list or top 5 favorite shows from 2022. That is probably going to be in my list. Absolutely loved that show.
Damn it.
How a realist hero rebuilt the kingdom.
Now
Yeah,
I've
it's a
got
good
to
one.
remember when certain things came out.
Oh yeah, I'm terrible about
That's why I will go back to like my anime list and look back through and be
that.
like, okay, which shows did I watch in which season, and then go from there.
Honestly, Spy Family's probably going to be in my top 5 for 2022.
Same here. Spy Family has been a fantastic series.
I mean, I think that's one of like the contenders for like top 10 in general. Like whenever I look at those lists, it's usually on near the top of those. It's usually like that,
I
Edge
am
Runners, Attack on Titan,
I'm
Mob.
actually surprised Bleach is right now currently number 1.
Well, I'm just glad that Kaguya took the top spot, and rightfully so. That last episode was more than enough to make it one of the best anime I've ever seen, just for the fact he thought that far ahead.
I just really like Gundam.
Are you watching the new Gundam that's out right now?
Of course.
That's one of the ones we fell off on just because life, the universe, everything, and travel. And what little we actually got to watch was really, really good.
Yep. And then a nice like soft one would be Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting, which I think Doug would like.
I
Possibly.
I could agree to that, even though I haven't seen it. I'm fairly familiar about it because of my friends.
And then Darren messaged me and said that he saw you had worked on a show that I enjoyed just for the sheer ridiculousness of it. Granted, your character was a normal character in this show, but
Oh.
Fruit of Evolution.
Oh, yes,
And the
that
and the
show.
and the fact it managed to get a second season somehow.
Oh my God, yeah.
I'm not sure how, but I will watch it. Because
You know,
it's one of those easily entertainment shows.
a second season I'm looking forward to is Our Last Crusade. Because that one
Well,
just like it ended in the middle of nowhere.
well, our most look forward to season 2. Technically released already, but the official release date is until next year.
Oh.
Bofuri.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Which I finally got my Zurich plushie in. After a year, I ordered it before October last year. And just got it in like November this year.
Oh, wow.
That was such a
Yeah.
fun show. I cannot wait for season 2.
Now,
It's this season, right?
season 2 for Bofuri is January 11th.
It's coming up so this coming season.
This coming season.
Yep.
And from the chat, John, we're going all over the place. John's asking if you're excited for Dr. Stone season 3.
I mean, yeah, it looks like it's going to be awesome. New character's pretty great.
I
It's a
have
lot
to
of fun.
say,
The movie, huh?
no, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that the movie you have to watch the movie before you watch season 3 because it actually connects the two seasons. It's not like an extra side movie. It's one that like actually has to do with the story.
I
And
was
I know. Oh, go ahead, Darren.
I was just gonna say I love the fact that they're coming out with these series that are so well researched, so well thought out. It's just amazing.
And
Yeah,
we
for
are
sure.
almost out of time with Emmy. I know that you haven't been feeling well. We do thank you so much for
Yep.
joining us.
Thanks
And
for having me.
before we let you go, we want to give you a chance to let everybody know where they can find you, any social media you want to plug, any upcoming projects you want to talk about that you're involved with. We call this our shameless plugging section, and the floor is yours.
Yeah, I mean, basically you can find me on any platform as Kitsune Squeak. Um, as far as things that are coming out soon, well, I can't really talk about them until they're out. So, but yeah, I would definitely check out Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting, which is almost over. I think episode 9 just came out this week. It's very soft and it's a good combination of both comedy and feels, and just wholesome slice of life of a Yakuza raising a little girl, or babysitting a little girl, and just how like they both grow from it. And it's really cute. And there's a cat. But yeah, that's basically it.
In other words, watch the show because there's a cat.
Exactly. And it's soft and it has great faces and Yaika is much must protect.
When you say there's a cat and there's faces, Uzuki comes to mind.
It's very much more wholesome than that.
Uh, Not a whole lot wholesome about Uzuki. Although
Yeah, exactly.
season two is better than season one, I will say that much. But that's because you actually can see some character growth all the way around, and you get a better understanding of why Uzuki is the way she is.
Yeah.
But again, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you feel better soon. Have a wonderful holiday
Thank
and safe
you. You
travels.
too. Have a great holiday. Take care.
Have a good holiday and safe travels.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks. Bye.
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 So Emi Lo, that was a lot of fun. Very thankful that she was able to join us, even though she was feeling under the weather. And these people are just amazing people. We've been very lucky to have had Emi on multiple times. So many of the voice actors we have had this year. I know last week, Angela, Winter Weather played Havoc, and you weren't able to join us for our year in review show talking about AZR year in review. And so take a moment here to give your thoughts of what 2022 was like for you regarding AZR conventions, the anime world, and whatnot.
It's been one hell of a year. Back in January when we first started talking about this, I didn't figure I was going to end up this involved with everything, and then it just kind of evolved. Um, as a direct result of the show, I've been watching more anime than I probably would otherwise. Um, from a convention perspective, it's been really, really interesting. I mean, having a press badge for the first time was an amazing experience. Doing the table as a guest, being at the end of voice actor row, that was an experience.
That was absolutely insane.
Attempting to live stream, attempting to join the call live while you were at one con and I was at another. That was an epic failure of technology on my end, but hey, that was part of that whole learning curve. Fun fact with StreamYard, if you're on a mobile device, it don't like headphones.
And CCE has or not CCE, BCEC has horrible reception.
That too. I mean, that
It's
was
just all around a shit show.
yes, but I can look back on it and laugh.
I did learn that doing 6 hours of live streaming from a con back-to-back days, not a good idea.
I mean, if there's one thing else I learned at a convention, I can't not talk about AZR if I get an opportunity to bring it up? Like, it came up during PAX Unplugged as well as PAX East. I mean, PAX East at one point when I wasn't working at the info booth, I sat down with Rodney and we scheduled that like right then and there.
Yep.
And
And
then
from that, we end up getting the table at Anime.
yeah, all because of a random conversation during some downtime that literally just was kind of a shared mutual friend and conversation.
And this year has definitely helped us all grow, I believe, in multiple ways, between putting more focus on the show, more focused on ourselves. I've pushed myself out of my comfort zone a lot more this year than I probably have the last 5 or 6 years combined previously, especially going out and doing panels and having tables for the show. Not being the table helper, but actually being like I'm promoting my own thing, not helping someone else, which is it gives a different feel to the tables when you're there plugging yourself, and you have to learn how to be a quick thinker, how to attract people without being annoying.
And also the whole just learning the audio end of podcasting. Um that was another big thing, and tracking that and watching that, and literally you watched me set that up at PucciCon while sitting behind the table.
Yep.
And that was 100% because we were talking with I do not remember his name from the life of me.
Was it one of the voice actors that was there?
No, it was one of the guys from Brooklyn.
Oh, I know who you're talking. I can't think of their name, but yeah, they're
But
like,
we
oh,
were
it's so easy to do it. Just do this and this. And we're like, wait, I could do that.
and I just said it all, and then it's been interesting. It's been interesting to watch our global audience grow.
And Darren, I know that you've had a lot of fun this year. Learning more about the show, and obviously conventions were down for you this year because of pandemic, working, things of that nature. But you've had a lot of fun and been a huge part of the show this year as well.
Yes, this is my what? The second, third year? How many years has it been?
I think we are somewhere close to year three. You starting year 3?
Wow, how time flies.
I can't believe I've been doing it for over 8 years.
When I was going through the audio, I found my first episode, my first like full episode, my first real episode that wasn't like a special.
And how did that make you feel?
Just looking at how much has happened between then and now, it was just like, oh wow.
And it gives you a new appreciation of not just like anime in general, but like the whole world of anime, cosplaying and artistry, and doing a show like this where we delve into so many different aspects of the convention and anime world. It really opens up your eyes when you get a chance to talk to these people and learn about who they are, not just the characters they voice, but who they are as people. And you get to grow a lot of respect for them as voice actors, and it makes you want to follow them and find more roles and get excited when they have big announcements and stuff.
And I mean, one of the things I think I noticed, like something I probably wouldn't have thought of otherwise, but the show kind of made me more like aware when I was overseas of just looking at what's popular here versus what was on display in London, on display in Paris.
Which, like, as you said, you probably wouldn't have given it a second thought if it's happened
Minus
when
like
it was supposed to happen.
Minus like the occasional like My Hero Academia shirts, because those are like everywhere.
You can't escape that.
Mhm.
I think that's part of the
Unfortunately.
reason that I don't like it is because it's so popular and you see it everywhere. Same thing with Demon Slayer. I mean, I'm one of those people that when things get really, really like ridiculously popular, and not just in anime, I'm like that in sports. I've said for years that if Tom Brady hadn't played for the Patriots and had that kind of success, I would probably hate him like I did with Peyton Manning, Dan Marino, LeBron James. I'm sure they were wonderful people, but because they were media darlings and just so much talk about them, I grew to dislike that.
See, to a certain extent, I will agree 100% with that. I recognize that if I wasn't born and raised in New England, I would have hated the Tom Brady era of the Patriots. um, just like I inherently dislike the Lakers
And the Yankees
and the Yankees.
and the Canadians if you're from Boston.
I wasn't gonna go there, but yeah. As for LeBron James, somebody occasionally, he's an extremely talented basketball player. Every now and again, someone needs to take his microphone away and tell him to shut the fuck up.
I think there's a lot of people like that. There are probably people who think that about me. Every now and then, they need to just shut him up.
Um, there's others, but this year has just been so all over the place, and
We
it's been awesome.
we even had a show where you took over and did your own midweek special with a
With promoting my friend's Kickstarter,
yep.
and where we talked about literally nothing but D&D and tied it into some anime. But I mean, that's another thing, is one of my D&D campaigns that is live streamed once a month. We're literally playing an anime, and the joke gets made. It's basically gotten to a point where it's various anime references get made so consistently that we laugh about it.
And it's not one particular anime, it's just multiple shows in general or
Multiple. It's any and every. It varies. Like, two of us basically had, at one point early on, we were both playing monks, and we had the classic shonen rival scene. And if you've ever seen any shonen, you know what I'm talking about.
I believe I know what you're talking about. I think
And
I've
then
seen clips.
and we broke it, and we just broke it down, and we got very silly with it. But that's kind of the nature of that campaign. I mean, we basically, at this point, at that point, we took over Disney World from the corrupt bad guys that were running it. Except it's not actually Disney World, but it was designed to be function similarly.
Interesting. I will say one of the highlights of this year, as you touched on, was being in guest row. Even though we weren't officially a guest, we were more of sponsor, but because we had a contest running with one of the voice actors, the staff said, we'll just table you beside the person that you're running a contest for. And that was Aaron Campbell. And as luck would have it, that was back when Texas had no flight attendants or staff, and he was a day late arriving to the con.
That led to some very interesting conversations with other people, and I think that also led to us getting Griffin Burns on the show.
Yeah, we had a great conversation with Griffin Burns during the live stream. Granted, I have a big red sign that says on air, and they can see in the corner that it says live, but Keith Silverstein came over and started talking with us. And I was like, oh, we're live on the air. Say hi to everybody. He goes, oh, I hope I didn't say anything I shouldn't have. It's like, you got to tell people this. It's like, we haven't advertised all over the place that we're live, but you heard me over here talking to myself, but when there was a lull in the traffic. But
Yep.
So many great voice actors that we've gotten to meet this year. I've gotten to meet some of the this year alone, I got to meet some of the voice actors that I have been a fan of for many years. And actually, over the past couple of years, I've gotten to meet some of the people that were high up on the list of, I want to meet or try to get on the show. And it has been crazy. And I've spent way too much money on autographs in the last few years.
And it's funny. One of my recent house cleaning projects involved buying some corkboard. Well, actually, I think it's foam, but on my wall, I basically had too many lanyards and badges accumulating from all the conventions, like going back to like 2014. So I put them all up, including my press badge from this year's Anime Boston and the PucciCon one.
It's a weird feeling when you look up at the badges and you see all different types of badges. And because you have your regular attendee badge, and then, there's something weird. And, like, I am proud when I look and I see a badge like this from ColossalCon that says press.
Exactly. And I have my PucciCon one. It was funny going back, I also found like my VIP concert ones.
Vermont Sci-Fi Exhibitor. That was
Yeah.
where we had the technical issue of you trying to join from another con.
Because I was at PAX East at the time.
And an industry badge for Kineticon because we were pressed there.
And see, that's where it gets into like.
So it's just really cool to like know that. I mean, even for me, thinking back to when I was first doing the podcasting or talk radio through Paranormal, when I got talked into doing this show, I never dreamed I would have a press badge for a con.
Okay. For example, now I'm going to share my screen for a minute if I can find the right button.
You still there, Darren?
Mm-hmm. I'm here.
You've just been listening to us blab.
Pretty much.
But if you look, I set this up in when was that? August? And since then, on the various podcast platforms, 161 episodes have been listened to. And we have a global audience.
Mexico, New Zealand, Poland, Italy, Austria?
Yep, I think that's new.
The most random places.
Yes.
The UK I can understand because of Mario and a few of the other people with the Monica Rial Facebook page that we're friends with that have tuned in. I can understand the UK a little bit more than some of the others, but man, if you're listening to us through any country, thank you so much. It really means the world to us to see the growth that's going on. I hope you're enjoying these shows. If you can make it to a live show that we do on Sunday nights, obviously the next few Sundays are Christmas Day and New Year's Day. We don't have live shows because of the holidays, but we will be returning again come January 8th when we do our 2022 anime year in review. We're going to look back at all the shows from 2022, who we enjoyed, what shows we enjoyed, who do we think was, some of our favorite moments from the animes and stuff like that. And like I said, let's see if we can each put together a top 5 list. Top 10 would take way too long. We'd have to make it a 3-hour show. But let's try to go for a top 5 favorite shows of 2022. And maybe if you want to, we could each say what we thought was the biggest letdown or worst show that you saw from 2022.
Sounds like a good time.
We'll call it the Toilet Award. What show should have been flushed? You know,
Toilet Man Hanako-kun, since we're actually talking about a toilet.
that show was good.
You know what's funny? There was someone the other day wearing a shirt from that show, and I think they were in their they were either young or they were middle aged. I don't remember, and I was just so shocked to see that, and I forgot to make a comment on it to them.
I'm mad because I had a Toilet Bound Hanako Kun shirt that was like a mint green, but I had a bloody nose while at the computer one day. Didn't realize it, and I looked down and the blood had gone down like the sleeves and stuff like that. I'm like, this shirt is ruined. I need to try to find me another one.
You could have washed it if you'd soaked it immediately. You could have gotten it out.
I wasn't sure how long that had been there because I just thought my nose was running. And it wasn't until I had grabbed a tissue, I was like, oh. And I looked down and I was like, oh. And it wasn't a little bit. I mean, it was like down the sleeve, down the front. It's like,
That's sad.
so sadly, I had to get rid of a shirt, an anime shirt, but. But that was looking ahead. As I said, January 8th, we're going to be doing the 2022 Anime Year in Review. And then January 15th, we're going to be doing a 2023 Anime Preview, a look ahead of shows, not just the winter season, but what are we looking forward to in all of 2023 that is supposed to be coming out that has been announced. I'm sure we'll be using some of our normal sites, including my anime list, because they usually have a decent list going.
Well, I suppose my list for what I'm looking forward to will in fact be the conclusion to Attack on Titan.
Maybe.
Well, I'm looking forward to the ending because it's one of those I'm very much aware that the final season, and I use that term loosely, is at the point where it's gone so far off the rails from where it was that I'm just like, okay, I need to see how this ends.
I'm excited that Fury is coming back.
Same.
I'm excited that By the Grace of the Gods is coming back.
I'm excited. I'm just, given how popular it is, I'm surprised given how we both are with overly popular things. I'm surprised we are both that enjoying Spy Family that much.
Oh, Spy Family's been fantastic.
Normally when things get too popular, I'm in the same boat and I tend to just kind of avoid them.
Spy Family hits different, I think, for the sheer fact of it's an original concept. It's not a cookie cutter popular show.
It's the right mix of
action, comedy, goofiness, cuteness.
And just good writing and good voice acting and just everything.
And John Knight says, today is Bo Billingsley's birthday. He voiced Jet Black in the Cowboy Bebop series. So happy birthday, Bo. I hope that you had a wonderful day. I know this week I was very quiet on social media. I had kind of a rough week. Wednesday was the anniversary of my dad's passing, and so I kind of hid away for that. For the Wednesday anyway, kind of avoided people and everything. So just dealing with all of that stuff, some of the emotions had come back. But, looking ahead, I am so excited to what 2023 has to offer for not just us anime-wise, but for what we have in store for Anime-Zing Radio. Sent out a few emails today talking with conventions. It's looking like PucciCon does want to work with us again for 2023. They're excited to have us back, which we are excited about going back to PucciCon. I had a great time at both their events in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. As of right now, I only know of the Pennsylvania dates. I don't know if they're going to have New Jersey again or what's going to happen there, but very excited to be working with PucciCon again. Rail City, we've got some big plans for that. Can't say too much yet, but did reach out to them to find out about when to make things official, and sent out a couple of emails for potential guests, and maybe we could get another big name back on the show who hasn't been on since 2019 or 2021. So it could be it could be fun. Or 2023 is going to be a fun year. And who knows, maybe we'll finally all get to go to a convention with Darren for the first time.
I know, right?
I think we lost Darren.
I think we might have as well. I'm just going back to my anime list and looking at the overview of 2022.
And I thank you, Ross. My condolences for your uncle passing away on Thursday. My father had passed away 12 years ago, but it was still tough. And Black Butler did not help. And I say that kind of jokingly, but for those of you who know Black Butler and you know the story behind how CL ended up with Sebastian and what happened with his family and everything, having his family die on his birthday. His birthday was December 14th, which was the day that my dad had passed. So when I was watching Black Butler and it made the connection, I haven't watched Black Butler since.
Never actually seen Black Butler. I've been told it's really good.
I enjoyed it up until it hit the personal note, and then I couldn't get myself to watch it again. But that's more personal reasons, not anime related.
That is 100% reasonable.
But I know so many people who love the anime. The story was pretty good. A little weird at times, but it was entertaining. I would definitely say give it a trial run to anybody. Like I said, my reason for not finishing it was because it hit a personal note and it had nothing to do with the anime itself.
Damn it.
And Ross says that his uncle passed away in his recliner peacefully at 80 years old. So I'm glad that he went peacefully.
I'm glad there was no suffering involved. Condolences to you and your family, Ross.
It's never easy. A loss of a family member is never an easy thing, but
no,
definitely,
it is not.
Thoughts and prayers go out to you and your family from all of us here with AZR. I'm sure Darren would say the same thing if he was awake. Well, I guess we can be creative on how to goof on Darren while he's sleeping, because sometimes he kind of listens while he's sleeping, sometimes he doesn't.
I got nothing. Like I said, I'm going through 2022 anime and what I watch, just by my anime list by season. And I apparently watched far less than I thought that was new. Therefore, putting together a top 5 isn't going to be as easy, or is going to be
harder than you thought.
Yeah, because My Hero might actually make my top 5 just on the grounds of what I watched that was 2022.
Now, looking back, on the year of 2022, I mean, there were some really, really good shows. Like I said, they were continuations from 2021.
And I'm accounting for some of those, but
And I realized I watched a lot of random shit. Oh my god, did I watch some random stuff.
Okay.
Not all of it was good. There were quite a few shows I dropped. Including World's End Harem. I dropped that. I was like, this is just kind of ridiculous.
What did I watch this summer?
Summer, I think you said there was almost nothing you wanted to watch.
According to this, Summer New, it looks like the only thing I actually watched was Ruby Ice Queendom, but I waited and watched that dubbed. So I didn't even watch it during the summer. Now to go to continued. Digimon we kept up with. Did we really not watch anything new over the summer? I don't think we did.
Summer.
I think Digimon Ghost Game was the only thing we kept up with through the summer, it looks like.
For me, summer, Call of the Night.
Oh. Technically, Cyberpunk Edge Runners was summer, although we watched that more recently.
Started, but kind of dropped. Devil is a Part-Timer Season 2 because it was a little... It didn't feel right adding the kid in there. Rent a Girlfriend Season 2 was kind of a disappointment. And we'll touch more on this.
Yep.
Vermeil and Gold started. Harem in the Labyrinth of Another World. Of course, I would watch that. Parallel World Pharmacy. Of course, I would watch that. That actually turned out to be really, really good.
But let me... Do I have... Okay. Yeah, the only one from spring 2022. Okay, so I did watch a lot at the start. I did watch a lot at the start of the year. Spring, we didn't watch a lot. Summer, we didn't watch a lot. And I think the rest of this actually... Okay, those were continuations. Now I have to look up and see if some of the start of my list here, I don't know if it's 2021 or 2022.
If new episodes aired in 2022, we'll count those.
Well, then... Okay.
Because that could be a continuation of a season 1, a season 1 part 2, or something.
No.
Of that
Well, one of them was fall 2021. Let's see. 86 aired in the second season of 86 was 2022. Digimon Ghost Game was ongoing. Platinum End was part of 2022. Blue Period. Let's see when that was.
You enjoyed that one.
I fucking loved that one. And if that one was 2022, nope, that was also fall 2021. That makes sense. Let's see when that one was. I'm going back to looking at all the ones I actually really enjoyed.
I'm afraid of how long my list is going to be of the shows that I watched.
Moriarty the Patriot was really... season 1 was fall of 2020 and season 2 was spring of 2021. Damn. That was another one I really, really enjoyed.
And Ross says, there has been great news today. Blue Exorcist Season 3 got announced.
That's awesome. I haven't watched that. I've heard of it. I've heard it's good. I've just never seen it.
Same here. I have never seen it.
Yeah, winter 2022. I watched a bunch. I gave up on one.
John Knight says the One Piece dub is now at the Wano arc. Wano arc. Wano. I have not seen any of One Piece. I kind of refuse at this point. Too many episodes, not enough time. Especially when there's so many other shows that are coming out that I know I'm going to enjoy. And I don't get interested in a lot of long running shows. I'll start them, and if they start going on, and I feel like it's just dragging on too long, then I just give up.
I didn't actually watch that. That one was good. Was that one top 5 worthy?
I know Combatants Will Be Dispatched was not this year, but
was Dress Up Darling this year or was that last year?
Winter 22. So that was this year. And I remember because I think it was after episode 2, I called Marin Kitagawa as best girl of 2022. Hands down, nobody was gonna beat her.
And then I said if Bofuri actually released on time, which it didn't, then Maple was gonna win. And lo and behold,
it got pushed back to 23. So Marin is still. I still stand by that.
I will actually concede that one. But looking at my list, I watched some weird stuff.
I'm gonna start writing down the shows that I watched.
Like, I will say, Cyberpunk Edge Runners was really freaking good. But it wasn't. That was a trippy one. Tokyo 24 was a trippy one. Was a good one, but also really weird. Platinum End, I've talked about. That one was. Oh, what the heck was that one? Now I've got to look up that one because I think that was 2021. I feel like that was 2021, but yeah, Winter 2021 was Back Arrow. That was a fucking trippy anime. But
on my list, I am going to include animes I started but didn't finish. But I will put a little DNF next to them.
I will actually do the same because I have a couple of those. Because Orient is one we started and then just never went back to. Tomodachi Game is one I started and didn't get back to. Gundam, Witch from Mercury, but yeah, no, I've Doug, seriously, go back and watch Blue Period if you haven't.
What platform is that on?
I don't freaking remember. That might be Netflix.
I mean,
hold on.
We do have Netflix again, but I don't really watch Netflix.
It is on. It's on Netflix. Seriously, go watch it. Like, that was so good.
I laugh because looking back through the shows and stuff, summer 2022 seemed to be the season of idol anime.
Which
I realized I watched 3 of them from that
Which
season.
makes sense as to why I watched Jack and shit during summer 2022. But we have digressed it. We have deep dived into that. We should save that for, the next show.
Yeah. And there is another topic that has been on the hot box on my social media feed. I know you've heard a lot and have some strong opinions about it, but this AI art nonsense where people are signing up or wanting to have their pictures drawn with a background that is somebody else's art and is literally just getting stolen.
Um, well, first of all, the specific app that started this discussion, and I'm glad the conversation is happening, my own opinions aside. The app that started this is an app called Lenza. And if you read the fine print, one, the app costs money. It is not a free app. If you read the fine print, the app says that by giving them your money, they retain the rights to all the images, and they also retain the rights to like basically they can access all your shit. And then just AI art in general, there's a lot of conversation about whether or not it's going to replace artists in certain capacity because it can be done fast. Because allegedly it can be done cheaper and faster. And Ross is saying, I assume in reference to Lenza, that it wasn't created by China, so we're safe to use it. That is a valid point. And I'm not going to, if for the people that are actually interested in paying for it, you do you. Be sure to read all of the fine print before you do. Know what you're paying for.
Because I have heard that there are some scams out there, and some of the programs I've heard are
Like
using art that was done by an actual artist, and they're not seeing any proceeds from.
That's the one of the AI. Ow. I have a lot of artist friends who have posted very lengthy responses to this. I'm not going to go through the effort of digging up one of them now, although I probably should. But what it boils down to is at least one of the AI bots, or they're being fed with art from the internet, and then the AI just alters the image, and the people in favor of it are basically comparing it to fan art, or where fan art doesn't violate copyright rules. I'm not sure I agree with that. And it will be interesting to see what happens when some of the AI art that comes back out contains Disney content and Disney finds out, because Disney is notorious for issuing cease and desists for fan art at events.
Oh yeah, and Disney will find out if that's going on.
And that got really interesting to see. That got really interesting when Comic-Con's first, or right after Disney bought both Marvel and Star Wars. It got really interesting when Comic-Cons rolled around and all this Marvel and Star Wars fan art, because it's been happening for decades. All of a sudden, Disney's trying to say, no, you can't. Whereas it just turned into a big kind of laugh fest from the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Because Marvel is like, well, nah, that's cool. We want this. Disney's like trying to shut it down, and Marvel's just like, yeah, no.
I mean, you would expect, them to take pride in knowing people enjoy the work that much that they want to create and promote it. But Disney's all about the money.
Right.
If they're not getting a
Hence,
cut of the pay, then they don't want it to be out there.
right, which is precisely why that will be interesting. But from the artist perspective, a lot of the conversation I've seen is the whole, if you're going to pay money for this app, why not have a actual artist, why not pay an artist to do a commission instead?
And HH in the chat says, yeah, and the funny thing is Disney often has no copyright claim to many things, yet they can bully artists with just threats.
Because a lot of the artists that do the fan art, they're just getting off the ground and trying to make a living. And
The
it's
thoughts of
not
legal action is very
enough
intimidating.
enough to be frustrating and so discouraging where they're gonna just give up.
Which makes me worry about Disney getting into anime. Makes me wonder, how is that going to affect artist alleys? Are people not going to be able to draw their favorite characters from certain shows that appear on Disney Plus?
I think that's gonna depend on the studios, because whether Disney likes it or not, there's a ton of fan art for things like Star Wars or Marvel, and Disney can't do shit to stop it.
I mean, look at a smaller con like Northeast Comic Con. How many artists did we see there back in April that had some form of Marvel character? Just about every single one.
Right. But that's the point, is I think it's going to depend. Like, I think Disney is less concerned with stuff they distribute and more concerned with their for lack of a better word, creations. And HH, from what I've seen, it's not so much Disney's creating the anime so much as Disney Plus is the platform it's going to be streaming on, where Disney's just the distributor. Star Wars Visions was actually really good.
That was the one where all the studios put out their own episode, right?
Yes.
I still have not seen that.
I highly recommend it. You don't need to know anything about Star Wars to actually enjoy it.
It's kind of like Spaceballs. You don't need to know anything about Star Wars to enjoy it.
Right. Like and for some of the studios, you can tell within 5 seconds. Studio Triggers was one of them. But it was basically it was an episode. Each studio did an episode set in the Star Wars universe. Some had far less correlation to anything. Like, one was basically the story of a Jedi that had nothing to do with anything. Just there was a cool lightsaber. Others were more. It was actually just really cool.
That's one I'm gonna have to figure out when I can make time to watch.
But if that counts as anime, I think that also might go on my 2022 list. But no,
I pulled up a Facebook page of one of our good friends who's a very talented artist, and we've had on the show multiple times, and I own a lot of their artwork. And right now their page is full of talking about this topic, including sharing a GoFundMe page that is working on trying to make the knowledge known about why the AI art is not the best route to go, and why you should, and reasons why you should support your local artists as opposed to a computer.
Well, it gets also into why you should. It's the same argument as to why you should support small businesses instead of the big box stores or Amazon. It's ultimately the same idea.
Yeah, and unfortunately, much like small businesses and stuff, people are just going to follow the crowd. Oh, they're doing this, I should do it too. And that's why Amazon, that's why malls are closing, because everybody's like, I can just order it on my phone or on my computer. I don't even have to leave my house to get all this stuff.
And during the pandemic, that was wonderful.
But now after a year and a half of pandemic and being locked in, everybody's just accustomed to, I still don't have to leave my house to order stuff. So businesses are closing. That's one thing that surprises me about, like, hearing about all these conventions and stuff, knowing that there's a lot of people who won't go to them because of health reasons. Yet there are so many people flocking to some of these shows that you have cases like AX and Anime NYC and stuff.
I think it boils down to
Anime Boston wasn't even that crazy.
Anime Boston felt smaller than it had in the past.
That's what I thought too.
PAX East did as well. Unplugged is always on the smaller by comparison, but it's also much newer.
I heard people talking about Colossal Con East that saying that attendance felt down there.
That I don't know.
You weren't there. I haven't been there before this year, so I don't know. I was just going off of what people were saying.
And the people I know who were there, like, it really does. I think what we're seeing is the excessively large anime cons, like Anime Expo, like Anime NYC, are going to continue to be problematic. I think the mid-range cons are gonna be the ones to see
Slow growth.
or
Again.
slow decline.
Yeah.
And the tiny cons or the newer cons are going to see growth. Not necessarily the kind of growth that like AX saw, but like the exponential growth that you normally see from a small con.
Because I know, and I know I use Rail City as a reference quite a bit when talking about smaller cons, but we were a part of their first ever convention, helping for promotions, things of that nature, and getting to see how Luke and his team ran that convention and stuff that they did was very impressive, especially when, and Angela, a staff can make or break a con.
Oh yeah.
And you've worked as staff, you've been at many cons. When I'm at a convention and the con's like, oh, we have a table in the back with sandwiches and chips and stuff. It's not much, but help yourself. We provide lunch to every vendor.
And that's huge. Now I'm going to ask a question. Did they do the same for any Artist Alley, or was Artist Alley part of the vendors?
Artist Alley was vendors. Anybody who had a table was welcome to the lunch. They also were going to provide pizza and salads Saturday night to anybody who tabled. So they were providing dinner if you wanted to stay.
And that's huge.
That's why I'm doing what I'm doing for 2023 for Rail City.
And like
Luke impressed me by the way he ran things, by the way he handled things. And you've tabled with me. You know I watch a lot of stuff that's going on. It
And
may not look like it, but I watch the staff. I watch what
I've
everybody does.
seen too much behind the curtains at various conventions to the point where I'll be honest, going into PucciCon, I had very low expectations because I've been so jaded in
Yeah.
the past.
Which is why you were pleasantly surprised by
I
what we
was.
experienced when.
I was. I also wasn't surprised when drama got brought to my attention. When drama got brought up, I wasn't surprised.
But I think really in this day and age, you will have drama anywhere, every
Exactly.
convention. It's
Hence,
just a normal thing.
right. And I will give credit where due. The staff handled it quite well. And it did not become like widespread gossip.
Mm-hmm.
It was reasonably self-contained.
So it was, it was a lot of fun branching out this year. As I mentioned last week, I've never sponsored a con before. Thankfully, it wasn't a financial sponsorship. It was donations of multiple prizes, the publicity of live broadcasting from the table. And we even did a panel talking about podcasting and did a live show, which I've offered to PucciCon again for next year.
And then
And they were
also
on board for all of that.
having the various having whoever from the staff of the con on the show to promote the con.
And if you have cons in your area that you would like to see us attend, you would like to get a chance to meet us in person, talk to recommend us to your conventions. We are open to work with any convention anywhere in the U.S. I do not have a passport currently, so I cannot travel outside of the U.S. at this point in time. Hoping to change that in 23. That's one of my goals.
As I've already left the country in 2022, if there's an anime con overseas that you'd like, I'm open to considering it based on timing and finance and personal finances. But I definitely would love to do that.
And even if we, if financially or whatever reason we weren't able to physically attend a convention, we are open to promoting and talking with any convention anywhere in the world. If you want to come on and talk about it, promote it, since we do have such an international audience, this would be a great place to get to learn about more cons, no matter big or small.
And there's also what's growing is virtual guest appearances when technology allows for it.
And we would be I'd love to be a part of a panel that way as well. It'd be fun to do the podcasting panel. I mean, obviously in person, and me being somebody who growing up, I was very quiet, I was very shy, kept to myself, had a very small number of friends or people that I would hang out with. So to go from that to hosting and owning my own talk show, getting out to Ross, if you want us down in your area, put our names out there. Highly recommend it. We would love to come down and get a chance to meet you. And I mean that wholeheartedly.
Where is Ross located?
Arkansas, I believe.
Easy enough to get on a short flight. Ross, I love to travel. I love to travel. Yep, you were right, Doug. I love to travel. Arkansas, I have not been to.
Neither have I. That's why I would love to, get us out there.
If nothing else, if there was a convention out there that would have us, we could definitely head out there. And then I would pester you with all the food recommendations because because that's kind of a thing my husband and I do. Is when we travel, we try to embrace
Find
the local foodie culture.
and put our names out there to your local cons. Even like I said, even if we can't physically get to the convention, we're still open to having them or a representative of your local cons as a guest on the show for promotion purposes. We are so. I don't like thinking of myself as a media outlet, so to speak, but
But let's be real, that's kind of what we are becoming.
we are becoming media outlet. We are, talking and interviewing, and I've always looked at it more for entertainment purposes, but really, the fact that our numbers have grown, not just, and it blows me away how fast we have grown on the podcast sites, but even our views on YouTube. Like I'll go back the next day and see the views and how many people tuned in or watched the podcasts live, and numbers are going up,
Okay,
and I thank you all.
Ross is saying, all right, if I ever get you, you guys must promise to try Zaxby's, where indescribably good is the slogan. When I was in Georgia for my sister's bachelorette weekend, because she got married down around Savannah area, I did try Zaxby's. Every other girl in the bridal party was surprised I'd never heard of it at that point. And I will say, hot take coming, Zaxby's was actually better than Chick-fil-A.
I don't think that's difficult because I don't think very highly of Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A,
I think it's overpriced for what you get.
I'll give you that. It didn't used to be that way.
I call it the Starbucks of chicken.
Nowadays, you might not be wrong. I haven't been in quite some time, but as a teenager, when it was in the mall food court, that was a thing my best friend and I used to do like all the time. Was we'd go to Chick-fil-A because it was the best of options in the mall food court.
I can understand that. I'm trying to remember. I think it's Albany, the Westgate Mall in Albany. Their best option is Popeyes.
Popeyes, I would argue, is more overrated than Chick-fil-A.
I like Popeyes. I think a lot of it also has to do with the breading.
Fair.
But I also prefer KFC breading to Chick-fil-A's breading as well.
KFC gets interesting. But
KFC still has the only coleslaw that I'll eat.
And final question before the stream ends from Ross: what is everybody's new resolution?
I think Darren is to stay awake for an entire show. And he's muted, so even if he heard that, he couldn't rebuttal.
Honestly, realistically, this year for me has just been growth in every sense. So I think for next year, my goal is to actually try to stop being such a goddamn perfectionist.
Next year, now I laugh because earlier this year, actually like a month or so ago, maybe less than that, I was watching a stream of Sea-Dog VA talking about biking across Japan with Chris Broad.
Oh, when they did the Hakkai, when they went from one end
when they did their charity stream.
Yep. I actually watched the Abroad in Japan version of that. And
Sea-Dog said as difficult as that was, he is so happy that he did it. And he encourages anybody to go out and push themselves beyond their comfort. In 2023, I want to do that more because I learned a lot with conventions coming back in 2022 that when I'm not in show mode, I don't know how to talk to people. That was made very clear multiple times. And I want to try to get myself back into, or not even back into, but get myself into a place where I can be more social, because
We need to
I've
work
been
on
very
that.
secluded.
I'm gonna read Ross's comment. Ross says he's gonna try and work on being more confident in himself, even when he has a lot of anxiety that always makes him feel down. That's actually a really good goal.
And
And
Ross, if you ever need to talk to people, we are here.
Ross, you can definitely,
Reach out to us.
if you want to find me on Facebook or Instagram and chat, I am more than happy to. I can definitely be in I've noticed in my Facebook groups, I tend to be like that best support person. Like I'm always happy to talk to people and try to help with their issues. And then I'm really bad about reaching out to people when I'm like stressed out beyond belief.
And I need to move this email to, where should I put this?
And now everyone's joining the goals chat. HH has some goals listed. Iris Necox has goals.
Iris, for most of my life, I have been very shy and have had a tough time talking to people. Like I just mentioned, and Angela saw it firsthand in Anime Boston. When I was in show mode, I could talk to anybody about anime, anything that was show related. When it came to social gathering, put the work stuff aside, I barely talked to anybody, kind of sat in the corner. And I was like, I'm just going to go back to my hotel room.
And quite honestly, as much as I wanted you to be social, I will say that ended up being a good thing because the social thing that I was trying to drag you to turned into train wreck that I had to manhandle real quick.
But I'm knowing that there will be many more cons coming up in 2023. She will have that we will both be attending. I'm sure she will have the chance to try to get me out of my.
It's just about finding that common ground with people. Hell, in Boston, you could literally talk sports and just let the conversation flow from there. But because I've been reading everybody's goals, HH goals include getting 20K in their portfolio, take the kids to Ohio to pick fossils. Interesting. Refine a unique habanero sauce recipe. When you do that, please share because my house enjoys hot sauces. So if you find one that's got if you end up refining a recipe that's got a really good flavor without heat killing it, please share.
And looking ahead to 2023, man, we have some big things planned. Like I said, there's stuff I can't talk about. This is where the NDAs are a pain in the ass.
I'm gonna pose a question for you and also to the chat out there. Focusing on growth for the show and moving forward. If I were to set up a Discord server for AZR, would people actually be interested in kind of jumping in and chatting about anime, nerd stuff, whatever? Where we can just kind of basically
totally be down for that.
Basically do that whole build a community where we could literally talk about anything and let everybody get to know each other.
I would be open to that. For the viewers out there, let us know if you're listening to us on one of the podcast platforms. Shoot us a message on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Anime-Zing Radio. and let us know if that's something that you would be interested in.
Because that's something we could do, because it sounds like everybody's got their shows that they watch. Everybody's got their random hobbies.
I'm stupid when it comes to a lot of the social media stuff. Like I have a Discord but I haven't been on it in forever. And I have like so many different people that I watch that it's like, okay, I'll join their Discord channel or that one or this one.
Yeah.
And I have no idea even what I'm doing in there.
Well, I'm in a bunch of Discord servers, only three of which I'm actually active in. One of them is for all of the enforcers for PAX. One of them is the Anime Boston social group one, and largely I'm only in that because my husband created it. And my D&D live stream. But I can definitely set up a server for AZR. I will probably need you to send me the image.
If you check the it's probably going to take a moment, but I already sent you the AZR logo. As you were talking, I was sending that through
Fair,
Facebook Messenger.
Because I could use that for the group image, and I can you know what? I'll set it up. And then post the link, and people can join, and then I'll set up different channels and whatnot.
And I do have HH's number, as he said, so I can pass that along.
But yeah, if he's got that, that would be that would be a fun thing.
As the clock goes off behind me, signaling it's 10 o'clock.
Signaling it's bedtime because I have work in the morning.
I once again want to thank everybody who tuned in, whether it was tonight, whether you're listening to us after the fact, or if you listen to any of our shows throughout the year. We wholeheartedly thank you. We wish everybody has a wonderful and safe and happy holiday season, no matter what your beliefs, what you celebrate. Until 2023, when we come back on January 8th, looking back at all the anime of 2022, I wholeheartedly thank you all for all the guests, all the viewers, all the questions. Thank you, Angela and Darren, for being a part of the team. This year has been absolutely amazing. The growth that has happened has gone beyond my expectations.
Ditto, and thank you, Doug, for allowing me to be a part of this. And thank you all. Thank you, our listeners and viewers, for making me feel like one of you.
You're just one of the part of the team. Almost say one of the guys with some of the stuff that goes on.
Colloquially, I pretty much am in many of my social groups, so that's fitting.
Again, thank you to Emi Lo for joining us. I hope she does feel better. She was feeling under the weather. Still joined us for about 50 minutes, which we totally thank her for.
Amazing, and yeah.
You know, these people that we talk with, I get to know, and you know, as I said, I don't become just a fan of their work. I become a fan of them as individuals, and so seeing success and stuff really. You know, wish her all the best for 2023. I hope next year is unbelievably successful for her. And maybe we'll even see her at a con.
One can only hope.
And if you can make it a Poochie Con, you'll get to meet the English voice actress of Maple.
We shall see.
On that note, I wish everybody a wonderful and happy holiday season. Whatever holiday it is, I don't know. I'm tired.
Today's the first day of Hanukkah. In a week, we've got Christmas, and then New Year's and Kwanzaa, and hell, I'll even throw Festivus in there for no good reason.
Festivus for the rest of us.
Exactly. Whatever your beliefs, whatever you choose to celebrate, I hope you enjoy it. And we will see you next year.
Have a wonderful night, everybody. Keep watching the anime. Stay awesome. And we will see you here right back on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch in 2023. Like I said, we'll review the anime of 2022. Until then, have a wonderful holiday.